You have people who are the NBA athletes of technology.
Do you see this changing?
He could build 41 airframes in his career. He could build the U-2 in 13 months.
What do you think's wrong in America today?
We could have done it 30 years ago.
Hot news right now is, the tariffs just came out yesterday. I'm just curious, what are your thoughts on that? Well, let's get into, you talked a lot about the bureaucracy in America and the challenges that it caused you guys to overcome. What do you think's wrong in America today?
What I think is wrong writ large with the world is that let's just steelman it. The C-suite, the executives of these agencies or these companies, they have a steering wheel. They're trying to steer the ship. They're trying really hard, really diligently. But what they don't know is that steering wheel is like a prop from the Jungle Cruise ride in Disneyland. It's not connected to anything. And then the people on the factory floor, metaphorical or actual factory floor, they look up and they say, how can my leadership be so dumb? Like, how can they not see what's actually happening here? And then you have all the layers in between. Part of their job is to make sure the steering wheel doesn't actually work. And they're controlling and massaging the information as it goes from one place to another. So you can't see yourself if you're at the top. Mm-hmm. And then you have this sort of nihilism. It breeds this nihilism, like nothing works. We should tear it all down, and sometimes that's the answer. But also you have to kind of wake up. There has to be some force waking up, trying to make these institutions actually functional. And that's what we see our software doing. It's actually creating a steering wheel for the C-suite that is connected directly to the people who do the work. And that gives you a basis to understand what is happening. How do I when I provide steering input, is it actually going to result in changes? How do I iterate on my policy and my strategy? When I have a question like how many tanks are in the Army, I should know that in 3 seconds. And that lets me know, do I need more or not? And I can move on to the next problem. The next problem, if I have to wait 3 weeks to answer that, you can just see how the whole system just gets gunked up. Nothing actually works. You don't understand that the quality on assembly of doors is not working, and therefore we're going to have problems. And, small problems that can be solved become big problems that people will struggle to solve. This breeds a legitimation crisis. Like, the legitimacy of our institutions is based on the fact that they work. How do you spend $11 billion on high-speed rail in California and have 1,600 feet of track that goes nowhere? With a government institution that's really proud about how many jobs they created by doing this. You compare that to SpaceX. They've only spent $9.6 billion and they put more than 300 rockets into orbit. Or, we spent $40 billion on rural broadband and have no rural broadband. We've spent $80 billion on electric chargers and I think we had like 8. So there's something wrong. Part of the disease that we're facing is this idea that all you need to do is cut a check. Like, money will just solve the problem. Money enables the founder personalities. Money enables people to do the work. It's the front end of enabling the work, mm-hmm. and it's the back end. It's the reward for having done the work. But someone's got to do the work, and you got to be really good at doing the work. And that's art. That's craft. It's not a commodity. It's not mindless. You don't just outsource it. And we need people to be proud of that and our efficacy in doing that. You think about these like, I think the counterfactual, if you just say like, we didn't have Hyman Rickover, we had someone else, or we had DOTMA back then and we rotated people in and out of driving the nuclear navy every 2 or 3 years, it wouldn't have worked. And so when we look at so many of things, why does the F-35, we conceived of it in the mid 90s and it's just kind of working now? Why should it take 30 years when Kelly Johnson could build as a single human at Skunkworks? He's the founder of Skunkworks. He could build 41 airframes in his career. He could build the U-2 in 13 months.
Do you see this changing?
I do. I mean, the reason I've been writing about it is that I'm wildly optimistic that we're on the verge of changing it. I feel like it's a little bit like a ketchup bottle. You shake it, nothing comes out, and then it comes out all at once. Like, this has been building, and people can kind of feel this subconsciously. They can see it in the parts of the American economy that are working, which frankly are the only parts of the economy. Look at Europe, nothing's actually working over there. So like, the parts of the world economy that are working look like this. The parts that don't, you see it with when Doge goes to DC. Like, there's a lot of noise, certainly from the other side around Doge. But it's been amazing. You have people who are the NBA athletes of technology walking around kind of realizing like, oh, that's a 7th grade basketball team over there. And, people who can call balls and strikes, and conversely can be like, that person in government is a genius. Like, they're not empowered. We need to empower. This is the person who actually knows the right answers. We pull them, Doge has the ability to make those calls and to do so with taste, right? And that realignment is profoundly needed.
Why do you think there is so much pushback on that? What are they scared of? I mean, we're going to save money. Things are going to become more efficient. I don't understand. I do not understand the pushback.
It's not supposed to work this way. We were following the playbook. We had a playbook, there's a system. It's this belief in process over outcomes. It's like, and it's profane to have to blow up all the process and to believe that everything that we believed in the past didn't actually work, or that there would be another way of organizing yourself that would be superior and would work better. And I think that's the subconscious undertone of the pushback. And then people, it's like the best engineers are, like I said with Hyman Rickover, he was hated by the Navy, but he was a national treasure. And can you hold that contradiction that, okay, yes, the engineer said something that hurt your feelings, but they're right? Can you hold that contradiction? Like, are you optimizing the outcome? Because if you care about the outcome, that's easy to get over. Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, you're right.
So it's ego. It's all ego. What a shame, man.
I think the results will speak for themselves. And I've seen this so many times. Once the bureaucracy gets out the way, you can often solve these problems inside of 30 days. So, and I think I know those guys, that's what they're focused on every day, which is just delivering results, keeping their head down, delivering results. And, I think they're a national treasure.
How long ago could we have done this, do you think?
From a technical perspective, we could have done it 30 years ago. I think from a political will perspective, it took President Trump's political will and the mandate that he got with the election in order to make it happen. And you still see the amount of pushback that there is.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, like I said, I don't understand it. It just seems like it's better for everybody if we do this. And people are just screaming on the rooftops about it.
And to tie it back to founder mode, my own support for President Trump is, when I had a 3-hour dinner with him in the presence of a few other folks, and what I felt profoundly was a founder personality. This is a person who was going to throw away the manager playbook, who actually had an intuitive understanding of the things that were broken and what to do about them. Was going to make contrarian calls and actually cares about the outcome.
I mean, speaking of President Trump, hot news right now is, the tariffs just came out yesterday. I'm just curious, what are your thoughts on that? You worried about that at all?
I'm not. I think there will be some volatility. What I've been looking at the markets, kind of thinking about how much of this is the market reacting to the playbook. It's like prophylaxis. Before the pain is even felt, they're like, but we take as an axiomatic given from our economic theory that this is a bad thing, versus empirically it's already resulted in badness. I think there's going to be some chop between here and there. But the ultimate thing about the founder playbook, it's not that founders are always right, but it's that they are first intuitionally driven and then often can only fully explain their intuition over time. And so you have to decide, is the rebuttable presumption going to be, we're going to lean in and try what the founder is saying? Or are we going to resist every step? Is the burden of proof such that I will not take any action until I perfectly understand everything or not? And I think no great things are accomplished that way. It's too slow. The OODA loop's too long. Takes too long to bring everyone along. So I'm in a suspension of disbelief mode.
A lot of people are worried I'm worried the prices are going to go up on everything.
And I would say Scott Bessant is a very smart human, very smart macro trader, part of an elite world. There's probably like on the order of 10 people in the world like him, or a current Treasury Secretary. And, I basically, it comes down to confidence in the team.
No matter where you're watching Shawn Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this, please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share this everywhere you possibly can. And if you're feeling extra generous, please leave us a review on Apple and Spotify podcasts.